Hey folks, Fernando doing our video for the Modern Survivalist, and here I have what I consider to be maybe the best Victorinox model available in the market. Now, that's quite a statement. There's several great models. I mean, there's a ton of models in general from Victorinox. Now, a lot of them I don't feel as strongly about, but if I had to make like a top 5, top 10, this would definitely be right there, probably on the top, at least that's the way I see it. So there's several good models, but this one, and this model, it's called the Locksmith. I leave the link there below if I find it in Amazon. I just haven't checked yet, and it's supposed to be around 50 bucks, give or take. And let me make a case for a statement. Why is it that I think it's maybe the best model of Victorinox? One of the models I really like is a Soldier from the Victorinox. It's the same knife for the German army, and for the Swiss army they have this same pocket knife. The US military has it as well in black, which is very cool, looks very nice. It's kind of difficult to find. If you know where I can find one, let me know as well in the comments below. I'd like to get one, but this is a very complete model. What you have here is, of course, you have one of the bigger formats. This is 111, is it? 111 millimeter format. And you have a single-handed, one-handed opening. So you have your blade that you can open it single-handed. That's a big advantage compared to most of the other models from Victorinox. And it also locks, the blade locks into place. So yes, that's, one of the very nice things about it. And you also have a very decent blade. It is a big pocket knife for what it is. It is more than capable of most of your chores without a problem, because it is a nice sturdy blade. This, of course, you have the straight and the serrated edge. So you have like 1/3 of the edge is straight, the rest is serrated. You also have on the other side, you have, and this also locks into place, the flat screwdriver, cap lifter, wire stripper combination. This is a very decent screwdriver, very decent prying tool as well, and it is specifically designed to be used in such a way, and it also locks into place, which again, it is nice. On the other hand, you have the small flat screwdriver can opener, which, yeah, it's still something you want to have in your pocket knife. It's a nice thing. And the other big tool here is your saw, which is one of the best saws you can have in any multi-tool, any pocket knife. It is long, it is a very decent saw, and it will cut like butter. It just cuts very well. Any piece of wood that you can get hold of that's about this size, it will cut it very nicely. So these are all good tools. On the other hand, you have your Phillips screwdriver, with, again, you want to have a Phillips screwdriver, and it is a nice sturdy one. You can put a lot of force into that. And you have the punch or owl on the other hand as well here, so as to make a few of those holes, wood, plastic. You will drill a good hole through it without a problem, so as to make any kind of traps or any tools you want to improvise out and about, or just making a hole in a piece of plastic of your gear. That's a nice tool to have. So you have all of the tools that you have here are all quality and are useful. So some of these, the super tool from Victorinox, which is like this big, it has a pile of stuff that you don't actually use. When are you going to be using an orange peeler? When are you going to be using a cuticle pusher? Stuff you rarely ever use. Now, the nice thing about the Locksmith, which is the name of this model, it says so, Locksmith says so there in the box. The nice thing of the Locksmith is it's pretty much the exact same tool, very much the exact same tool, plus a file, a metal file or a wooden file on the other hand as well. So this file is one of the nice things I definitely would like to have here, because I see it as something that has a lot of uses. If I have to cut a metal bar, I can do it with this. Again, very nice size. This is big enough just to go through any piece of metal that I have to cut. All right, if I have to maybe shave a little bit of metal in a part, in a gun, something that needs to be repaired, and I need to work on metal with that. With the knife, I work on wood. With a saw, I modify and cut through wood. With this tool, that allows me to work on metal, and that is especially from a survival, especially from an urban type of survival or modern survival, giving the stuff that you're likely to have. Even if you're in the middle of nowhere and you have a problem with your car and you need, or a motorcycle or your bicycle or whatever it is that you're using, and you need to make a quick repair, and for that repair you need a file or to cut through metal, you're going to be able to do that. If you need to access somewhere and you have to cut through a metal bar, you can do that with this tool. So I find it to be a great advantage. Besides that, you have the blade is, it's nicely positioned, still very much in the middle. Maybe not as perfectly in the middle as you have in the soldier, but it's enough that it's comfortable for both hands. You have a straight edge, which I like it better than the half serration or two-thirds serration thing. I think this is a better idea in general. I understand why for a soldier tool you may want to have those serrations. Someone that's going to be maybe sharpening the knife or maybe using this tool a lot more and knows how to sharpen a blade properly, especially because I already have a saw and a file. So why would I want to have that kind of thing in my blade? I'm much happier with a straight edge like I have in this case. And final little detail, you have the same tools as explained before, but you also have your tweezers, which are very handy in your Victorinox, and you don't have them in Soldier, and the toothpick, which I don't find it to be as useful nearly as much, but some people do. Some people like it for other applications, but you have it there as well. So all of those things said, I think this is maybe the more complete, realistic tool. Where I see this one fit, in my opinion, it's the kind of tool for anyone. If I have to choose between this and my Leatherman Charge, I'm going to be picking my Leatherman Charge. I think it's a more complete, and I have the pliers, which is a big deal. But if you're not a person that feels as strongly about having pliers, and you're more about the type of guy that is looking at, I want to have a good knife. That would be one of the main things, rather than a good set of pliers and a knife as part of the toolkit. I want to have like a nice big main blade. Then this is the one for you, because this is what you have here. You have a very decent, very large folding knife. And it's sturdy, it's well made. It's a great folding knife for anyone that wants a pocket knife. Now, it's not a tactical folder. You could use this to defend them yourself, no doubt, especially because it's decently sized and it locks into place. You don't have much of a guard here, which your finger could slip forward, but you have somewhat of a ergonomic shape, so your fingers could wrap around there, and your thumb, you could have somewhat of a grip like this, or just getting a very strong hammer grip like that, and you could use this as to defend yourself. I would suggest maybe modifying the tip a little bit, giving it more of a clip point so as to penetrate better, especially so as to avoid any chance of your hand going over the blade. It's going to be penetrating nicer. Just very easy mod there with a Dremel. You could have a nice clip. I actually did that in this other knife that I've used a lot. This is a German Army knife, the GAC, the older soldier model from the German Army. Also made by Victorinox and a bunch of other companies. But I just did this little clip point, and I find it very useful. You have to be a little bit more careful if you make this kind of mod, because this will be a little bit more delicate, more fragile. But if you know what you're doing, you are careful, you will have the best of both worlds. You will have a nice penetrating tip, which is also nice for some of those more detailed type of cuts, and you can have the rest of the blade for anything that's more forceful. And if you're going to be prying, man, you have tools specifically for that in the rest of the knife, so don't mess that up. Just a little bit more cautious, a little bit more care. As it is, it's okay as a practical utility tool. If anything else, I would give it a little bit of a clip tip over there. I think it's great. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section. I think it's a very nice. It could make a nice Christmas gift. Giving it, we are in that season, so yeah, consider it as well for yourself. I just got this one because I had my eye on it for a very long time. One of the things I like from this model is that you have a nice owl, which it's quite long. So even though the blade does not lock into place, here you have a very decent spike. You could do a lot of damage with this. And this is a knife that lends itself beautifully for, countries that have lots of knife restrictions. I carried this with me a lot in UK. The blade is utilitarian, doesn't lock into place, so that sucks, and it's not useful for defense at all, given that it does not lock. But this over here, if you have a little bit of time, you open it up and you have something that's gonna be, poking holes into whatever you punch. And it's gonna be tearing and cutting and doing quite a bit of damage. I would suggest working on that edge a little bit, just in case, dremeling it out a little bit. But that, as it is, it's gonna be a decent tool for defense as well. Here, I think it's even better because you have an actual locking blade. And with a locking blade, a slight modification for a clip point, man, that is a decent enough knife. It's not specifically a tactical folder, but it's, you're still carrying a Victorinox. In the eye of the public, Victorinox is always like more, less, more socially accepted, I guess. It doesn't feel as threatening. Yeah, I have a Victorinox. What, do you have the soldier model? No, I have the locksmith model. I'm somewhat of a locksmith myself, so I have the locksmith model, right? The final little tip or piece of advice would be there are scales for this. The Sentinel model that has a clip, I'm thinking of getting those and replacing these scales, even though it will pain me quite a bit because I like the way it looks. But those scales with a clip, that would be fantastic. And Victorinox, if you're watching this, by God, get yourself a decent set of scales where you could have this tip up left or right. That would make this, a great deal of a multi-tool slash a pocket knife. That would make it perfect, in my opinion. Having the option of a clip here, that would be great. One that I can have on either side, that would be fantastic. So keep that in mind. It was really not that big of a engineering challenge to get a clip somewhat here that it's removable. It plays in one side or the other. You already have the scales, or you have that lamination right there, so to screw into that, at least with a little bit of thread. Shouldn't be that much of a challenge to have this same tool with a clip on either side. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you're considering buying it, remember the link's gonna be there below if I find it. If not, I'll leave the link for maybe for the soldier model, which is a decent Victorinox as well. So that's gonna be all. Subscribe to the channel. See you in our next video. Have an awesome day.